Alright guys, this is a little follow-up and update on the range. One of the first videos I did was this drainage ditch right here. It's kind of fallen in nicely, keeps it relatively dry over here. The range stays 100% dry, but did bring some rocks in. Those have kind of gone by the wayside of all the dirt we brought in. As you can see over here, there's the old drainage pipe rolling the water through. It's so this is kind of what it looks like now. We cleared out the main shooting lane. You've probably seen this if you've watched any of our videos or a lot of our photos. They're all taken out here. We had a pretty bad windstorm here not a couple days ago, and all these vines fell out of the trees. And I did plant a ton of grass seed out here, and none of it really took, largely because, well, it doesn't get a lot of sun. A lot of these trees right here in the summertime put off quite a bit of coverage. However, that's one of the things that's about to change. I think there's going to be a lot of grass in here come the spring. This is kind of my shooting table. It's a little jacked up. It's not the best, but it's what it's out here for now. I leave it out here constantly, and that's an old AAC SDN 762 Berm there. Good stuff. And got these barrels. They've come in handy. I kind of use them as stops and things like that. I don't have any markers out here. These trees on the right-hand side of the range are kind of active as my markers. I know that's about the 35. Come back here, and it's about the 50, 55 or so. However, those trees are probably coming down real soon. We'll talk about that in a minute, but let's go see kind of how the berm turned out. One of the videos is my buddy and I, Lambert. We were stacking these railroad ties like crazy people. And it was not fun. It really wasn't fun. Didn't really do it the right way. A couple comments and people talking about the correct way to do it, which would be staggering them, and that is absolutely correct. But I did not want to cut into railroad ties, tear up chainsaw blades, and breathe in a bunch of, I'm not going to try to say it, I'll say it wrong, but the stuff that they put on them makes them smell funny. Creote, I think, maybe. I don't know, somebody correct me. It's YouTube, they will. As you can see, some has fallen off. Did have the dirt brung in, and it's about that time for some range maintenance. Switch out the 2x4s, respray, tighten the bolts, all that jazz. Forgive me, I sighted in a gun the other day, got lazy, didn't throw it away. The old Texas Star. She's hanging in there. She needs a little love too. She's getting a little rusty, but still spins like a champ. As you can see, the dirt and everything, it holds well. It's dirt, so it does what dirt does. Stops bullets. As you can see over here, I'm gonna walk around the back. We did build up the wings to kind of hold the dirt in, and they've done their job for the most part. This is kind of what happened. This wasn't because of the dirt. It stood tall for the longest time, and it just kind of caved in, but it didn't change the structural nature of the berm. It still holds. But none of this really matters, because what I'm about to do is bury it all. We finally decided just to go all out, go all in. The berm's not as tall as I want it to be after the dirt started to compact. The dirt used to be taller than, or as tall as, the berm itself was. And of course, we were going to bury all these, but then realized to move them from here to the front was going to be a royal pain. So they just kind of stacked up back here, and now they're degrading. But what's about to happen is this wonderful berm is probably going to become 10 to 12 foot high. This whole range is going to get bulldozed. We're going to scrape the top layer, cut it down, and build this to really what it should be. A little low. There's nothing beyond the range, but that's not the point. I want my bullets to stop, and I want to know that they're stopped, as should anybody. But we're gonna wing it up like the wings here, but we're going to make them 10 to 12 foot tall, all the way back to about here, which is roughly the 10-yard line or so. And so all of this down this side will be a wing bermed up, and it's going to be mirrored on this side. So that'll be built up, and that'll be built up all the way to about the 10. You'll have a pretty good amount of shooting space, and it'll cut down on the noise with inside the 10-yard line, not for the shooter, but for, you know, noise going outwards. Again, this is a home range, so naturally I'm trying to be nice to anybody that may or may not be close by. So that's what we're gonna do. This is gonna change a lot. Of course, we're gonna use a lot of the dirt that's already out here. This is the high side of the property, so we can go down a good ways and get most of the dirt from here. We might have to bring in some filler, but that already being here really kind of helps overall the height, and we won't have to do as much dirt there as we will, but it will have to be widened. It'll likely be something that you can walk on. It'll be relatively wide, and then we're also going to knock down the coverage trees, and we are going to use them this time because we're bringing in machinery. We're going to use those as base layers, so it'll break down over time. But if anybody tells you that a range or anything of this nature is not work, they don't know what they're talking about. So there's always going to be maintenance, and I'm aware of that. And this range is a pretty big part of my life. It's obviously Lynx Defense is my business, and so I spend a lot of time out here, product development, you know, product reviews, things like that. So overall, this has been pretty awesome. I hate I left everybody hanging. I did not realize I did until I realized there was no video about the berm. And I didn't want to go any further until I kind of showed you where I was and where I made it kind of on my own. Now it's time to, quite frankly, I'm hiring it out. I don't know how to run a bulldozer. That's not in my wheelhouse, unfortunately. And I don't have one, and they're not super easy to rent unless you're already in the construction industry. So anyway, all that being said, I'm gonna have them come in, do the work, and this range is gonna be like creme de la creme, and of course I'll continue to maintain it. And you know, if anybody has any questions, I'd be happy to try to answer them. I need to go back through the comments and try to respond to everybody that I hadn't responded to, because I, again, kind of left everybody on YouTube hanging. My apologies. Anyway, this is where we're at. It looks kind of janky right now because I got some of the steel off, but all in all, range is doing okay. It's going to be, I'm going to really document when they come out here, probably do some drone flying, get some good footage, and really show you guys kind of the before and after of what it is after you really dive in and decide to do it kind of quote unquote professionally. So all in all, appreciate you guys checking out the video, and thanks for all the views on the original couple series of videos. And well, that's all.